Yep.
You're in open session.
We're back in open session considering Notice of Potential Violation 2019-1. And I wonder if someone has a motion to make about this complaint. Yeah, Jack.
I move to have the chair issue a written response and decision not to hear the complaint.
Second.
Under 160A2G.
All right, thank you, Jack. That was helpful. Second?
Second.
Okay.
Small problem.
All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no? Okay, that motion passes. Okay, and so I will whip that up and get it to Dee either later today or tomorrow morning. I'm leaving for camping tomorrow
really?
afternoon, so I will definitely have it done before we go. Now, whether Steve gets it to you, who knows what happens then. Okay, let's get back to our schedule then. Agenda. Dee, was that the only earth-shattering thing that we had
Yes,
today?
it
Okay.
was.
Gift exception? Is that where we're at?
Where are we? Yeah, we are at 7A, aren't we? Should we,
So, Mr. Chair,
Yeah.
I would like to let you know that Cassie's gonna leave us. She'll probably stay with you longer in the future. We're a little short-staffed today in the clerk's office, so she won't be staying with us. But, in any event, thank you, Cassie, for getting everything
Yeah,
together.
thank you.
Thanks so
I
much.
appreciate all your work.
Mr. Chair, it looks like the first thing would be the 5A1, the request for gift exception. It's the yellow. And I thought this was your bailiwick.
It's in 4A. I don't know, even over here. Hold on. Where is Steve?
Okay, but it's in
It's
7A or 4A?
Yeah, it's in 4A,
Okay.
yeah. Yeah, that was right after the agenda.
I think I told you then that I remember some of the things that teachers did for my kids, like, you know, I remember my daughter was bleeding once and someone got her pants and, you know, cut her hangnail because, you know, she had to go home because she had a hangnail. And, you know, they give kids lunches. They are really part of your family. And I think that $100 for a teacher who's put up with my kid for a whole year or even a semester, for me, is it's marginal. And I'm telling you, thank you for being part of the village to raise my child. And I am concerned that $50 is too low, is one thing. And then the other part that really troubles me about this is that you know, we all get gifts, and I have never given a gift back to someone. It is, you know, in our culture that is so insulting to have to go give the gift back. I get the idea about redirecting, but can't we put something in the code that the teacher can redirect the gift to the PTA? Because then the teacher can send the parent a thank you and say, I redirected the gift to the PTA. But then I think both the giver and the receiver don't feel icky, you know, by saying, sorry, you know, no matter what you did for my kid, this is a violation of the law. It just feels, anyway, you know, I know that the rule is 50. I think this person was trying. It feels awkward to, you know, make them do something else. I have a feeling this parent is long gone, and I think it would be weird to do that in June or July, to say, oh, by the way, here's your $100 back.
Can I say, under our code exceptions, and Terry will have strong feelings against almost everything. But we've been
Not
through
Yes, I lost the argument the last time, so.
Well, in some sense, I did too, right? Because I wanted zero.
zero. So, but anyway, under our current section, it does, for reservation of exceptions, it does say the very last line: gifts may be redirected for disposition to a charitable organization or returned to the donor.
Oh.
And that's actually when I got a bottle of scotch from APD And gave it to me to read. This was like, now what do I do with this thing? You know?
Redirect it to a charitable organization.
A charitable organization. So I actually, that was my little line.
Is it PTA at charitable?
I think so.
Yeah.
I mean, I think so. I mean, it doesn't have to be a 501c3 or
Right.
something, so that we could redirect it to that.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then you guys can argue about 50.
That
That
gets
gets
rid of the
rid of the ick
ickiness
factor.
factor, right?
Yeah.
So, you know, it's,
Cover the ick.
yeah, okay, that sounds right. Yeah, when we write the code, we'll get rid of that though.
Mm.
Because that's another thing that shouldn't
I get to keep the bottles, guys.
be. Yeah, right.
The undisclosed.
It's a what? It's a consumable. As long as it can be consumed on the spot, right? Consumed on the spot to celebrate one's work.
Get 3 people together, you're good to go.
Which will increase as the emails.
Right, right. Well, it depends on what it is too, right? Is it Johnny Walker Blue or is it like, you know? Okay, so we'll tell this person then, have your principal redirect it
To
to
the
your
PTA.
PTA or some
Yeah.
appropriate charitable organization.
Yeah, or, yeah, I guess we do that.
Okay, sounds good. Who's going to do that?
Well, that's a 2-liner, so can the clerk's office do that?
Yes,
Okay.
if you direct us to.
You are so directed. Thank you, Madam Clerk.
Take this box, make it so. Yeah.
Okay, let's take a look at the next one.
This is one that's
Is you-
required that we have to do.
Yeah,
But
the
we told
required
them that they have to
disclosure,
do
right?
it.
Yeah.
I don't have any problem.
It's from the
Also, he's already
Rasmussen
gone.
Foundation,
Mhm.
which happens quite often. It's
Yeah, everybody okay with this one?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we'll look at the, these are great colors.
Really did make it right.
Yeah. Everything was a no till we get to. The only one of these when I looked through them earlier that jumped out at me was Mr. Edgington. Everything G-Box always seems to.
And I signed this because I talked to him.
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to remember what my conversation was.
Yeah. this guy.
Where's the name? Is that blue?
It's blue, yeah.
Okay, yeah. So he had called me because he is signed up with, he works now for RDI,
Mhm.
which is Dennis Wheeler's group that does a lot of work for the clerk's office, a lot of the election work. So they have contracts with us, both for the election stuff and then occasionally other computer stuff. And so now he's going to go work for them. And we discussed, so that's at Resource Data Inc., that the whole business, I think I thought he was doing a revised, one of these, but just it would note that he would, recuse himself if there are any contracts. Do you have
He
that?
did
I
say
don't
that,
have
yeah.
it.
It says on here that he would recuse himself from any discussions
Yeah.
regarding such projects.
Right, or any decision making, so, yeah,
That's fine with me.
yeah, I didn't think that was a problem. So where is that? Why don't I see it?
It's the second to last one.
And there's several of these
That should be this guy.
It's not,
Oh,
Yeah.
weird.
purple ones, that municipal employees, a lot of different departments,
mhm.
I have a different one
are
too.
bidding on
Do you have
tax.
this
Yeah, no, it's fine.
That's fine. Me too.
Seems to me we went through this once.
Yes. And to tell you the new wrinkle, is the forms that they are using are terribly outdated, they're inconsistent, and they don't hook back to our forms. I now have that on my desk to correct. In files. But no, so those all need to be corrected, and unfortunately they're referencing the old thing, which creates all sorts of problems. So I need to just correct that internally, I'm not sure that's an ethics board matter.
Okay.
All right.
Because we.
But it reminds me
at
of it
length,
doing it.
We went through it once.
Yes, yes.
And, so, they're gonna have those done, are you gonna send them correct the form and send it back to these people? Or what are we gonna do?
Well, there was a situation with this person, again, remember he's been before us before on foreclosures. There were 3 of them, and it was sort of a collusive bidding.
Right.
But when you related it back to the forms that they had provided, it was problematic. And so we came up to a solution without that outside of the ethics board, but with the recognition we need to clean this up in the future going forward.
I would move to approve the consent agenda with the direction that we gave to
Yeah,
clerk.
good section.
All right, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no? Okay, consent agenda passes. All right, let's take a look at 7A.
This one, this is Tim Hamrick, and that has been done for.
That's your opinion.
Yeah, it's been done for a long time.
Okay.
And
Just
I'll
not sure
tell
whether it
you,
ever went out.
It never went, I'll tell you what I did. So we had a meeting, I mean, we had this thing done for a long time. The last, I think in our, was it our March meeting?
right.
We did make like a tiny little tweaks to it. The board decided on changing a few little words on that same day, and with the plan to change those few words and send it out to Tim, finalize it, have the chair sign it. I made those changes that day and sent it off to Lisa, fully, understanding that she would turn that around and it'd be done. And then a few months later, I heard from Tim, hey, whatever happened to that opinion? And I told him, I said that I communicated with you, Barbara, like, hey, any intel on this? And I heard that, Lisa was no longer around. And I figured it seemed like there might be some time to sort out what was going to happen with it. So I said, Tim, it's really not going to change. We've all agreed on it. So I gave him a draft so he could see what we decided. So Tim has it. I said the final will follow up. So all we need to do is
Send
really
it out.
send it out. So
Clerk has it now.
yeah, clerk. I mean, Lisa had it
I
the
sent
day
it
of the
to.
last meeting. Yeah.
I had,
Oh, that came this morning?
yes,
Okay.
Yeah,
and the same thing will
It's
come to
unchanged.
Jack's opinion too.
Yeah.
yeah,
So
it's done.
that's ready
It's
to
done.
go.
It's ready
been
to go.
ready
It's
to go.
done.
Yeah.
Okay.
Been back here twice for final
Do we
Yeah.
need a motion?
It's, I think we've already
You've done
We've
it.
done
You've-
that.
you've
We did. So
finished
we have
it.
copies
Yeah.
for me to sign, or should I?
That's really all that has to happen.
Yeah.
Right.
Mhm.
And how long are you going camping?
Just for several weeks. What do you think?
I mean, I wonder if you could just finalize it today. Put
Yes,
it on-
I
let
can, we can
Terry
print it after this
yeah.
meeting and you can sign it if
Get
you'd
it
like.
done.
Yeah, we could
Just
probably
that-
do that with some, oh, sorry.
Do you have letterhead or what do we do?
I don't know what we do.
Just use municipal letterhead?
What
I
do we
have
do?
assembly letterhead. I might have some blank. Is that what you use? Just,
I
We'd
don't
have to
know.
like look at what we
We'd
do
have to
on
look at
our-
a past one, we don't even know, because
Okay.
Lisa does it all.
Yeah.
We don't know.
Yeah, I don't know if we have special board.
I don't think it
ethics.
matters
I don't know
personally.
what
Okay,
we
got
do.
it.
Yeah.
It would be, although it'd be better Board of Ethics, because it's not, although we're.
We could go check and see what our.
Well, I'll start working on designing some.
Yeah.
While you're camping.
Okay.
Isn't that funny? We don't even
Wisely.
have-
Be inspired.
That's funny.
I'll task it to Steve Strong. Okay, 7B is
And I think this is the same.
same kind of thing, right?
situation,
Okay.
yeah.
Oh, right. This is and that's the one you did, Jack, right?
Right.
Let's take a look at 7C.
so do I need to print that one out
Yes.
today
If
then?
you
think
too?
so,
don't,
yeah.
could,
And I sent the
I'll
Word
wait
version.
and sign it so we
Yeah.
can get these things out of the pipeline. Oh, right, and we talked to Forrest about this, right?
Yes.
Um,
And I was supposed to do some type of follow-up, 2 paragraphs, which I haven't done yet. Although we had not talked a whole lot, we decided that that items, he's on the Assembly and then he's also on this Parks Foundation. And that items that concern the general budget would not present a conflict of interest, but if there were specific line items that should be disclosed. And let me try to draft that. I'm not sure, we ended that conversation after we said, oh, remember they had a nice big explanation, John Rada and Forrest, and we got through all of that, and I think I have that on the clerk's website, the discussion there, so I can go back to it. But we didn't discuss a whole lot these line items, but that's probably a case-by-case basis anyway, because for instance, when he had come, it was about a grant that was gonna go or something from, either to or from, I'm not sure who did which, but it was a specific item, and that we all said, well, that's sort of different than just you're part of the budget process as an assembly person. So let me, again, I think that's on, I have that discussion on the clerk's website. When you see those things that says 4D.
X4D.
Yeah,
Yes,
that's probably
that's
that
on
one.
yeah, I see that.
So, and if I need any help, I'll bring it back, because we ended the conversation right at the point where probably needed to begin, but we had to have so much informational.
Yeah.
And it's over for now anyway, but let me see if I need more help.
Okay.
I think I did enough to get Lisa to put it on the clerk's website. That was my effort.
Let's see, 7D.
This one was Eric Croft. Remember, he came to us and he got some information on parameters, and he said, I'll go do it, and then I'll send you a copy. We never saw the copy, but it was not us to do oversight anyway. We discussed some parameters.
I
So-
think it was just one, yeah.
So do we need to write something up for this one?
No, we don't, no,
We
because
don't.
Eric was he was asking us
He's gonna
for
draft
some
something.
information, we gave it to him. I had hoped he would
So
send it
that's
back to us.
closed out.
Yes.
Yeah. So we can close that out.
I mean, I was hoping.
Have you advised him about this?
We did.
At the time,
He was
yes.
in person.
He was in
Okay.
person.
Mhm.
We had a good, nice discussion,
Mhm.
and there were different things we thought were yay or nay. And he said, okay, I got it.
Mhm.
I'll draft a policy for the assembly. And off
Yeah.
he went. So it wasn't coming back to us
Yeah.
really.
Yeah, it was he was writing policy
Yeah.
about the mailings.
Okay, so, as you can see, this email is originally from Desiree Camacho, the Budget and Finance Director, or, and Desiree and I directed this to the Board of Ethics because we have the individual account memo, and I can tell you that I have been contacted by a member who wants to do a mailing. And the issue of the mailing is it's expensive, and the members run for reelection. So I know Eric said he would do this, but the clerk's office has not gotten direction, and we're the ones that are being asked to let a contract for someone to go to a private printing company to print a newsletter to constituents or email a newsletter to their constituents. And our question is, what happens if that person is running for reelection? Is that a use of municipal? So you do need to answer this. I'm asking you, please, to answer
And our
this.
problem is, do we have it recorded somewhere? Because we talked about a lot of parameters. I don't remember what they are now. We'll have to, a lot of times we went into deliberative, although this shouldn't have been because it was
Yeah.
open.
Yeah, it was all
So we
open.
should have it. I
Wasn't
mean, Barbara, with the
confidential.
caveat that we need to find the recording for it. Because again, Eric was off on his own to
We
write
should
it.
have, because we certainly wouldn't have gone into deliberative session with Eric here, maybe executive session if you wanted things confidential.
I don't
But
think it
Eric's
was.
usually not like that, he usually just comes down and has it right in open session.
It was a
I
very
think
casual
I think you
discussion.
need, the assembly needs to make a decision on that.
Well, Eric was the chair, so that's why he was here.
Well, yeah, but, I mean, that's up, the assembly approved the $12,000 per individual. And how that is spent, they should have a regulation of how that is spent, not us.
No, but I'm sorry, can I interrupt you?
Sure.
No, but the issue was just as Barbara stated, yeah, but if they do this big fancy thing, 2 months before they're going to be reelected, or run for election, no, but that is an issue, is they're using a municipal resource to further their
For
personal
political
gain.
purposes, yeah, right.
But I can't remember, we just, and I think my concern is we had fewer people, we only had two, barely a quorum for that meeting. I don't know if it was recorded, because we had a couple meetings that weren't recorded. Well, because there was nobody here, and then they said, press this button, and who knows? So we really had a robust discussion about this issue.
Right. But it, is it okay 3 months before election? Is it not
Yeah.
okay 2 months before?
And we had some discussion about that.
Yeah.
too.
Yeah.
Right.
I thought we sort of
So-
talked about some reasonable, kind
Yeah,
of,
yeah,
But-
we had some reasonable
boundaries.
parameters, I can't
And
remember them now.
they can't say anything about election in the
Well,
newsletter.
no. But
That
so,
would be.
Barbara,
We have to
why don't we,
direct.
can I make a suggestion, Ted? Let's try to find if we have a recording of that issue.
Yep.
Because if we do, we really had a good discussion
We
about
did.
it.
Mhm.
And again, we didn't think we had anything more we had to do. But if the clerk's
Yeah.
office would request, especially if Eric never
Yeah.
put it in a policy, he was gonna go out and do a policy.
Yeah, that's what he,
Yeah.
I left with the impression that
Yeah,
he was going
no,
to
he
write
was gonna
something
do
up.
it.
Yeah. And
He
yeah.
didn't want us to do it, he was gonna do it. Which was fine, because he just came to us, as
As
a
the assembly
request.
chair, he was gonna write something up.
I
But it
I
was
actually
really-
think the request came from me. I think I said I had a request for the board through the chair.
Okay.
Was kind of the way it came. And I advised Eric to come to you. And, through the chair, Ted, I'd like to let you know a little bit what the problem is. They do have this policy memo about individual assembly member accounts, but keep in mind, there's 11 assembly members that comes to the clerk staff and says, buy this for me.
Right.
And so now we are the ones that need your help because we work for the assembly. We do what they tell us to do. This is not clear in this memo if a mailing and these parameters is allowed. So I would really appreciate your advice on that.
Okay, so let's try to find
Okay.
that
Yeah.
recording. And if not, we'd almost have to restart it, and that's fine. And, the other thing we could say, we discussed, I thought, some very helpful parameters, but there may be, and you, the assembly, need to make a decision, however, between A and B as part of our, that they're still gonna have to be involved.
At
in
least
some
setting out the
decision.
guidelines.
But we set out the guidelines, like we did with Amy's firefighter husband.
Okay.
Does anyone have a burning desire to write an advisory opinion?
Hmm?
Because I think we do need to write something.
Well,
the
but let's
request
find
is
if we
for-
have the thing.
Okay.
Yeah, but someone might also start thinking about it.
No one involved.
Mr. Chair?
No,
Mark,
he's gonna be
writing
doing
something.
one, yeah,
That's
he's
the
gonna be
thing.
doing something, so.
Really
I'll
overloaded.
find it and notify you if I
Let's find
found
it.
it. I
Find
think
it,
that's
okay.
the,
And I can volunteer to write something up.
And Jeff,
With
I
Lisa's help.
I
We
can too, yeah, it doesn't matter. Yeah.
But just, I think
I feel
having
like we have
someone,
to do something.
a little ownership.
Mhm.
Well, can I say, I think Lisa, it would be more
can do
helpful
it.
for you
Okay.
to do, because I can directly go back and forth with
Okay.
you, and
Yeah.
I know the assembly
She's
and
down the hall.
the
Yeah.
search
Okay.
process,
Great.
and,
Yeah.
so,
And maybe I'll call you if I have a question I
And
can't
you
find
won't
you
be.
or something. Yeah, that's fine.
no, but I think it's because I
easy.
can put the assembly input, and I know how the
Yeah.
system works.
Okay.
Here's
Sorry.
a letter
Thank
from
you.
Eric Croft about it.
You're right.
And did you get this letter? Said CC view.
March?
I'm not sure which
Yeah, the
item
December
is this?
2018.
December 28th, when he, no, not that,
Yeah, it's rolled up. There you go.
Well, yeah, I wrote it.
you wrote it.
Yeah.
Yes, I wrote the individual assembly account memo. That is correct.
And
then you CC'd yourself, too.
Well, of course. So they, the assembly members have, it's $11,000 or $11,400. They have money.
Yeah.
I have someone that comes into my office and says, hey, I want to buy
Spend it, yeah.
this. And what do I do about that? I have, my duty is to the municipality, not to an individual assembly member who may be spending municipal money inappropriately. So we wrote this memo years ago. And so, and then we have the chair sign it, and now we update it annually so that all of the members know what the rules are. The $11,000 individual account is not a free-for-all. It can't be. It's municipal money.
So Barbara, this memo you wrote a number of years ago, but it was just most
Absolutely.
recently updated on
That
the
is
20th.
correct.
I'm trying to think of when Eric was here.
Well, it was within the last 3 months. It was
Yeah.
right
Yeah.
before
Was
he
it
went
March?
out.
It was like March or
Was
April.
it
Yeah,
the
it's
March
right
meeting?
before he left.
It's gotta be the March meeting,
So it's February, March.
February, March.
Well, you can tell, I can
Yeah,
say
we can
you
look
should-
back at the
Yeah.
prior
No, but if you
packet.
looked at my email,
Yeah, where's your email?
Do you need more
I'm
than
just
what's
trying to,
in this? Are you
yeah.
asking?
yes.
We need
Yes.
the recording, for sure.
And specifically, it doesn't address,
Next meeting might be February.
this letter does not address
The next meeting after January
what you
10th.
want the
February.
information. In other words, you want in addition to this
It's
letter,
February, March.
Yeah.
what about the newsletter?
Correct.
Okay. Well, let's just decide on that newsletter. What? Okay.
Okay. And my email is dated January 10th, and it says, Eric, I think we could squeeze you in
The next meeting.
To the next meeting, so not the January meeting, would have been a February meeting, probably, maybe March, but probably February meeting.
I'm pretty sure it was February because I worked my lunch when I was about this.
Okay, so February meeting.
February meeting. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, that's good.
Dee, could you repeat that one more time?
It would be at the February
February
meeting.
meeting.
Yeah.
Seems very familiar.
Oh, no, yeah.
It's a very agreeable and very,
It was, for some reason,
it was a very good
came up to a solution
conversation.
relatively
Yeah,
quickly.
it was a good discussion.
What, to me, which should be a thorny issue, but it went well.
Yeah.
I
Okay,
remember why, but I don't know.
7E, I think, is our educational stuff, right?
Well, this relates back to, Terry, you and I theoretically getting together something for everybody in the city. This is the one we gave at the assembly members thing that I had modified quite a bit for the assembly. And whether you and I realistically just want to, remember we had talked about an interactive thing, and I mean, that's been a year now, and just not, nobody has time for it, is whether we just take something like this and make it a little bit more general, and then have it on a website or hand it out on the Monday, when employees are hired, it's on Monday mornings, and I think they may be giving them an ethics code or nothing, I don't know.
Right, I have to get something for you. That is a perfect point.
Can I ask you about our next meeting? Isn't our next meeting like, aren't we the first Thursday of the month, 10 to 12? Isn't that July 4th?
I think that's on the agenda.
It is. Okay, I was just kind of wondering, because
Yeah.
we
Yeah.
do want to
Definitely.
meet next month, don't we?
Yeah.
Or, I think with Lisa gone and trying to tie up these loose ends, I think we gotta meet. It's hard in the summer, but
But yeah, we could take this and make it more generic and then just make it a video, like a narrated PowerPoint, something like that, walk people through the slides.
Well, should it be a video? I mean, again, my concern is we just never get to that point. Oh, that's what they hand out.
So, I do want to let you know, I saw one of my election workers with this. I thought that's kind of interesting. Then for the retreat, Dee knows, I made copies. I started, well, I made the wrong copy, but I called Reprographics to make copies of this code, and they said, oh, we already have it.
the wrong
And that's
one.
the new code?
No, that's not the new
No,
code.
that is from like 1990 maybe.
Oh, that's two old codes.
That is what ER hands out to new
Oh,
employees.
well, let me take one.
And it shouldn't be,
Oh my God.
it shouldn't be that because it's
No.
Yeah, it's old.
It's not even,
I don't need it.
Well, but at least they know that.
I don't want it.
So
Change
will
my,
they make
Put it in the
Board.
archive, yeah.
they're still
You
giving
know,
that
but
out.
some of this stuff isn't so
That's-
bad. If you look through it, it's not that bad.
No,
Just
but
it's
it's
not
not
long
outdated.
enough.
to read.
Well, but it tells you
It's general.
will they print
the
that
general
with
concepts.
Most
the
of the
new
spirit
code?
should be okay,
Can
yeah.
I get
Spirit.
one more?
Of course, you can have
No,
them
but
all
I-
for that matter. But I had these on my desk because I
But
wanted
it's
to
not that
remind you
bad
that.
for a
It's
little.
not quoting sections,
No.
it's just kind of
It's
the
not all that
general
bad, yeah.
improper gift.
Oh, well, it does quote a few sections, so, but I bet
Yeah.
you, but who knows who's got the Word version of this?
So if you could get them to print the new one.
Well, that would be up to Dee.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, the beauty of this is that it talks about, 8 topics. It's a
Yeah,
topical
it's really
thing.
succinct. The
And
big-
it's
the
just a
big
matter
ones.
of probably
Oh,
read.
yeah, I do like the examples, the
Yeah.
example comment thing, that's actually really nice.
So while you're camping, Terry?
I'll work on
Hey,
that.
can
too.
you red pen this?
Yeah. That's what we need to do, is
Be
just red
interesting to
pen
see.
it.
Do you want it?
I guess I want one too, Barbara.
Well, I guess I won't.
I mean, I guess you wonder how general these are and whether or not they'd actually
No, but,
work.
80% of this may be exactly
might be
what we
okay.
need, yeah.
So we just
Uh,
need to figure out how to change it. I do like the breakdown
Yeah.
into the big issues.
Yeah. And so it's just a
It
matter of
may not be that
reminding
bad, but we do want to scrub it of any incorrect sites. Oh, this is interesting.
No, see, it's not that bad at all.
Who wrote this, do you think? Like examples? Someone in
Well,
1990?
this is 2007, so it's Julia's time
Oh, it's really
and
sad, yeah.
Barbara Grunstein. Did I ever tell you this? The former I'm gonna say it even though it's being recorded. The former clerk thought that the attorney for the ethics board should never say anything unless asked by the board.
Attorneys should be seen and not heard.
Damn right, you know.
People
I
like
tell
to
Dee,
talk
I
in seconds.
email her before every meeting, please don't talk unless you're specific. She just runs roughshod every single meeting.
And the Board of Ethics would come to a screeching halt.
Well, and also remember in the old days when we didn't prepare, like if I got a complaint, like I got this complaint last week, well, then I right away try to figure it out a little bit. So otherwise you would get that today and go, well, I don't know, what do you think, Dee? Well, I don't know, I
Okay,
didn't call anybody.
we'll report back to you next month,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah,
So
I'll call you
everything
next
took a
month.
month longer than it needed to. Yeah, I like this little thing. Yeah, I think a lot of this is
Not bad.
salvageable.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. Okay, so
Okay.
we'll work on that. But I guess we do have a report, right? In the sense that Dee and I did do a presentation. We did good cop, bad cop kind of thing with the assembly, and I thought it went pretty
What was
well.
this?
Yeah, people had old copies of the code. That was the only bit aside from that.
When did you guys do it?
At the assembly retreat, so it's a training session.
Who was the good cop? You were clearly the good
Well, it
cop.
was interesting because Terry got to say all his philosophy
Right.
behind the ethics code, and they
It's good.
loved it.
It's good.
They loved
That's
it.
right.
They need to be thinking.
Whereas I was
of
sort of
such-
quick, and he was like, well, and you see all these seminars, and you're smiling, like, it's a vision of knowledge.
That's right.
Don't you think? I mean, they just loved it. They ate it up.
I think there wasn't enough time. An
Oh, there
hour
wasn't at all.
wasn't enough time.
It's important.
And the one part we did miss was their advocacy versus representing the constituency versus, we missed that
That's
whole section
important.
we didn't get to. And that's probably the most important
That's
section.
probably right.
Yeah.
Right.
That might be on a training session in the future, just for 20 minutes or half an hour, sometime, this coming year, because you're continuing to do that, because that's such an important area. And it's so problematic for the assembly.
All right. Well, let's work on that, Dee. We'll,
Mhm.
if you could send me a digital copy of this, I'll see what I can do about making it a little bit more generic, and we can bring something back next meeting to look through. And then, because once we have slides that we like narrating it, we don't have to make it super fancy. It's just to make it a little bit more interactive. Just sort of, I can do this like I do on my lectures. Just sort of like walk it
Can
through.
you do that right off your computer?
Yeah, PowerPoint lets you do it. You can.
Oh.
Yeah, you go to slideshow, record slideshow, and then you talk over stuff, and then you transition. You move to the next, and then when it's done, you save it, and people can go to play slideshow, and it just rolls
Terry,
on
do you
out.
have
like
the original? So you did the original of this, and then I've modified it twice since. So the original was meant to be generic.
That's true,
I
right?
can
I've
send
got
that. Look for it, because it's
Yeah.
more generic.
Okay.
And I had
Yeah.
to modify it for elected officials, so you may be. Okay, and then this.
Yes,
How
I
about
will.
you and I do this?
Okay.
I
That's
mean,
fine.
unless
I think we did do
Jack
that
would
one.
love to jump in.
Oh, no.
We need a homework assignment.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, well, no, but I think we can do it, okay.
Mr. Chair, I have a
Absolutely
question.
right.
So the
Doesn't say.
updated PowerPoint, I want to check for my notes, that's for boards and commissions, is that correct?
Well, the idea is, I think
No.
we'd like to have one for everything,
Yeah.
right?
Well,
Like
it
public
has
servants
to-
generally, right?
Well, see, I don't know. I think it'd be better to have the three employees. I think it'd be better to break it up.
Break it back up.
It's because 80% of it's the same, like all the gifts and, that it's, so 80% of it's the same. I'd rather see all three.
As separate.
Yeah,
Okay.
I'm sorry.
So
Separate
employees, boards and commissions.
Yeah.
Elected officials.
Elected officials. Okay.
So, Mr. Chair and Dee, I think that's a good idea. As Dee knows, if you've sat through employee orientation, they already do probably a 60-page PowerPoint for new employees. So this would not work for them. You have to do something much shorter,
Like
and
this.
that's why
This
this makes more sense.
Mhm.
But for boards and commissions, Dee and I are working with boards and commissions right now, and I'm going to make it a goal of mine in the next 6 months that we're working with them on public notice and recording meetings. There are some concerns about that right now, training staff to do that.
Mhm.
And this could be a really good addition to that, Dee, is to have
Mhm.
the PowerPoint for them, and then maybe we could do like a triple whammy and get all the staffers and those directors together, do the ethics for boards and commissions, and then do the public notice and Open Meetings Act, all of that at the same time. It's sort of a problem.
So it's just a matter, I would think it still would be Terry or I would have to take one of these and modify it for our boards and
Right.
commissions.
Yeah.
Why don't we just do employees first? Let's get one thing done at a time.
Employees, okay, so we'll start with employees.
Yeah, let's just one at a time, and then if we come into time crunch, I'll modify into the commissions and boards.
Okay. Sounds good. I think that's it for our agenda, right? Does anyone have,
Next meeting,
next meeting, okay, oh yeah,
Yeah.
so let's talk about that, right?
Meeting.
So,
the
I'll
11th
see
would work
you
for me.
here on the 4th of July,
Yeah.
bring
So
firecrackers.
that's the following week.
The following Thursday would be the 11th.
That works for me. At the time.
Okay.
Yeah, me too. All right, very good. Anything else?
What, 11th of
July. Yeah. 10 to 12.
10 to 12,
Okay.
works for me.
I think that's it. Yeah, does anyone have anything else to members' comments?
Good for me?
Audience participation?
Move to adjourn.
Move to adjourn.
Second.
We are adjourned.
Do you think we have a hard copy? Word version?
We probably just have a hard copy because it's 8 years
Do you think?
old.
You could call, so reprographics, the code is on the back. If you look in the bottom there, that's the reprographics code. You could ask reprographics what if they have it in a Word, and that would be how they would find it.
Okay.
Yeah, that would be great. Yeah, if they had a digital copy of.
Where are they
You could
located,
edit, that
Barbara?
would be
What
pretty
floor?
I
Fourth
don't
floor.
think this will be
I
that
can
hard
just
to
go up
edit.
there
Ruth
now.
You're
Vern
talking an
Klassen
hour,
is
2
the
hours an hour.
supervisor.
And
Bruce?
it's, no, I like the example comment thing. I think it's a great way to go.
KDERNPLASSN.
Okay.
Jack, I want you
I'll
to
go
not
ask.
be so nice because you wrote that G-Boss opinion. I think he deserves to have some time off.
He does. And Barbara, you'll
But one more.
check
Yeah, one
whenever
more.
you can about the
Right.
February
Oh,
meeting.
thank you.
The what meeting?
The February meeting.
Oh, yes, I
yeah.
have that on my list of things to do, but.
Do we want to turn this off, by the way?
Yes, please.
Okay.